It is the end of a political dynasty for Liz Cheney.
The Wyoming representative was defeated in the GOP primary overnight by her challenger, Harriet Hageman.
Oh, it's Harriet Hageman. The margin is almost 2-1 over Liz Cheney here. There are two areas here you see where Liz Cheney's done well tonight. One, this is Teton County. This is where Jackson Hole is. This is sort of the political outlier of Wyoming. It may look big geographically. It's only about 5% of the vote. And she cleans up down here in Albany County. This is also the only other county in Wyoming, along with Teton County, that went for Joe Biden in 2020. Do you want to see Joe Biden run for a second term?
I don't want to answer that question because we have not. I don't want to answer that question.
Okay.
I mean, he's the president and he has the right to run for a second term. Absolutely.
You want to see President Biden, the senator, run for a second term?
Well, what I want to see right now is that the Congress of the United States, working with President Biden next year, develop an agenda that says to working families and the elderly and the kids, we understand your pain and that we have the guts to take on the big money interest at a time when we have more income and wealth inequality than any other major country on earth. You know, Wolf, you've heard me say this again, and I think recent events point this out. This country is moving toward an oligarchic form of society, where you got three people on top who own more wealth than the bottom half of American society. You got three Wall Street firms that have control assets of over $20 trillion. That's the GDP of the United States. Unbelievable wealth and power at the top, while the middle class is in decline and lower income people are really suffering. We need to work right now, next year, with President Biden on an agenda that addresses those issues.
So let me rephrase the question. Do you want to see him run for re-election?
Look, right now my concern is electing more Democrats in this midterm election so we can finally address the needs of working families. That's where my mind is right now.
Madam President?
Senator from Vermont.
If I could ask my friend from Ohio, why would passage of this amendment, or getting 48 votes on this amendment, bring the overall bill down?
Madam President, Senator Sanders, the arrangement in this is all 50 Democrats supported. We know every single Republican has voted against the child tax credit, not once last March, but twice. But we know that this is a fragile arrangement, and we've got to pass it as much as
Senator from Ohio, all time has expired.
Come on, Bernie.
The lay of the land is everyone is waiting to see what Trump decides to do. And anyone who tells you they're not is lying to you. And he's going to decide on whatever time frame he desires. My suspicion is we won't know what he does until maybe this time next year. But we'll see. I don't have any idea either, any more than anybody else does. And I think there's a lot of navel-gazing and prognostication. Trump's going to do what he wants to do, and he's going to do it on whatever timing he wants to do it. And I think all the people predicting and speculating about it are wasting their time. We'll see what Trump decides to do. I think he accomplished an enormous amount as president. I was proud to work hand in hand with him in achieving results for the American people. And I think regardless of whether he chooses to run or not, he is going to remain an incredibly important leader in the United States.
Governor DeSantis didn't hold back. He took to Twitter to voice his response, tweeting in part, "The raids of Mar-a-Lago is another escalation in the weaponization of federal agencies against the regime's political opponents, while people like Hunter Biden get treated with kid gloves."
Senator Tim Scott was on CBS Mornings where he gave his thoughts on former President Trump after the FBI searched his house. Here's some of what he had to say.
But you don't have any concern that they're going to find anything at the Mar-a-Lago?
Well, I think we should really, as opposed to rushing to judgment, the most important thing that we can do is let it play out.